So I'm Benny Carroll. I come from Portlaoise. I'm a footballer at Portlaoise. I guess the reason I decided to come up was the last 4 years, I'm going to say, I've had recurring injuries with my hamstring, and it set me back hugely in terms of missing games, missing trainings. And just got to the stage over the last couple of years where I started questioning whether or not I'd continue to play, because of the frustration of being injured, coming back, putting in all the work, and then coming to games, coming to championship games and getting hurt again, and never feeling 100% going into these games. So it's kind of the last chance saloon for me to actually go and get resolved now, while I'm still capable of playing at a high level, and just try to address the issues as I can. I have spent an absolute fortune on physios. I would be in and out of physio every week or every second week, trying to keep myself right. And it just hasn't worked to a degree where I've been able to address the underlying issue. It's been a stage where I might get from game to game, but I break down then eventually. And then you're just constantly forking out money. So it's a case of, right, can I address the underlying issues? And straight away from when I first met Shane, he looked at me totally different than I would have been looked at previously. So he didn't look at the area of injury at all. He didn't look at my hamstring. He looked at my posture straight away and had said, okay, this is where the injury is coming from. It's coming from my shoulder. A shoulder injury I picked up when I was 15 years of age. So something like that straight away, I was kind of like, okay, this is going to be totally different from what I was used to. So I went down the route. I've been to chiropractors, I've been to acupuncture, I've got massage therapy, and then I've tried a couple of different physios, a couple of different strength programs as well. All to no real avail. Have seen some improvements, but then eventually it just leads to the same thing of breaking down. And that's where, coming to Shane now, everything has been totally different. But in a good way, where it's totally challenging the body, putting it in kind of positions and situations that it wouldn't be familiar with, and then just trying to readdress certain issues like posture, as I said, was a big one that Shane identified. So addressing that, I was kind of sceptical enough when Shane first mentioned the posture, because it's not something I would have thought you'd be able to change and adapt. So I was sceptical enough, but then looking at the photos from week 1 to week 12, like, there's a huge change in my posture and how I stand. So I'm hoping that's going to have a huge effect in terms of what I'm able to do on the pitch then as well. So I guess the body feels much freer. I'd be a lot more confident in my body as a whole in terms of being able to run. My running mechanics feel a lot smoother in terms of being able to lift the legs. They feel a lot more kind of open in their movement, so my strides feel a lot better when I do open up into a run, and that's probably been the biggest thing for me. And then I actually work at a desk all day, from day to day, and I would have had bad upper body kind of postural pain from being hunched over at the desk, but since kind of focusing on trying to reset your posture each time, I've noticed a big difference in terms of I don't get those pains where I feel I need to get that crack or that kind of manipulation or adjustment every single day, essentially. So that's been a huge adjustment from day-to-day life for me. It's totally different from anything I've ever seen or kind of experienced before. Between the treatment from Shane on the machines and then the rehab with Luke, it's all very individualised and it's targeted as well. So I found that's been hugely beneficial to actually trying to identify what the issue is and correcting that it's not just a case that you're going through the motions and hoping for the best. So it's been very good that way, and just breaking it down, the guys have been brilliant in terms of any questions, you get a response very quickly. So it's just a case of like not beating around the bush any longer. As I said, I put it off for maybe 4 years where I've been kind of going with it, trying something, hasn't really worked, whereas now I'm very hopeful that my body will last throughout the season, and I will continue to work with Shane and Luke throughout the year, just to make sure I give myself every opportunity to kind of stay on the pitch and perform at a high level. So if I was to talk to someone else, yeah, it is totally different, but definitely worth doing. Definitely worth doing.